I'm attempting to watch 1,000 games of football before the end of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. I'm going to be ranking every single one to find out which game is the greatest of the season. Even more Premier League action being covered today as Fulham take on Leeds United. Two sides that I predicted at the start of the season to relatively struggle, and to be honest, I feel like I was right in that prediction. Fulham not really attacking the transfer window as hard as I feel they should have for a team that's looking to improve on last season's relative disappointments. And Leeds, as a side coming up from the Championship to the Premier League, made some great signings, absolutely, but maybe not as much so as a team like Sunderland, for example. Nonetheless, both sides went into this game, and I'll have to say, this game was incredibly even for, I'd say, majority of the game. In fact, I'd say pretty much for the entirety of the game, it was relatively even. The possession was quite even, the chances were quite even, the shots for both sides were quite even. Unfortunately, it did make for a bit of a boring game. I felt like there was a lot of sort of just lackluster moments where the game just sort of dragged on at long periods of time. And I really thought that we were on for another 0-0 draw in this game until, in the 90 plus fourth minute, something crazy happened. Because Fulham would get a corner in the 90 plus fourth minute, it would be whipped in, and Goodmanson, the Leeds United left back, would somehow head home an own goal from near the penalty spot into the side netting on the left-hand side of the goal. It was a beautiful header, to be fair. However, unfortunately for him, it was in the wrong net. Fulham would run out 1-0 winners thanks to that own goal, and it's a big shame for Goodmanson because I think he's a fantastic fullback and he's had a good season so far, but just the worst luck possible for him. Anyways, Fulham would run out with the 3 points today, a huge 3 points for them. A big disappointment for Leeds, who were very competitive today, and honestly, should feel hard done by the fact that they didn't get something out of this game. Overall, I think I'd be comfortable in saying that this is probably the worst game of the round, even though it did have a goal. I'd say it was very slow, and both of these sides, while they are good counter-attacking teams per se, aren't necessarily the kinds of teams that are going to be creating heaps and heaps of good chances from open play, so it did feel like the game dragged on a bit. Overall, I'm going to rate this game a 2.9.